Welcome to Strictly Reality.
We're your hosts, Liz and Shev,
And every week we break down the biggest fights,
the soft launch romances,
the chaotic alliances,
the producer plans,
and all the moments that made you yell at your TV.
So grab your snacks, silence your notifications, and step into this episode of
Strictly Reality.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy, Shev. Like, we're almost done with the season at this point, which I didn't even realize it. Like, they were just like on the last episode of the season or something, they said that triggered, that it was going to be the next episode will be the last. And I was like, wait a minute, we've already like gotten here?
I know that was really fast. The season has been long, but it was kind of a speed up to the end. Guys, subscribe, follow, like, share as we enter this, like, the penultimate episode, right?
Yes.
We're about to enter the final, but this episode before we get there was really good. I actually watched it twice. It was It was
I did too. It was good. It was very good. I feel like it was, everybody was vulnerable in this episode. Like, I'm like, I don't see where anybody like didn't share some sort of vulnerability, whether it was kicking themselves in the mouth like Curtis or like, just sharing what's going on with their family, like Dr. Mimi. It was just a lot of moving parts. Everybody was being vulnerable.
It was. You can see like this, even though Toya was put to the test to put this trip on, she didn't fail. We'll talk about it a little later, but everyone kind of walked away from this trip feeling like job well done. It was a success, right?
Yeah.
But before that even happens, so much happens, right? We go back to the scene where the guys, like we pretty much continue from where we left off last episode. The guys are at the beach, the girls are on the river.
And there's that continuation with the conversation with Dr. Eugene and Dr. Damon, where Dr. Eugene's basically calling out Dr. Damon. Well, he's trying to hold Dr. Damon accountable for what his wife is saying, but Damon's not taking the bait. Like, he's kind of just reserved, laid back, like he's been the whole conversation. Every time this topic is brought up, he kind of pivots and talks about, hey, this is what the ladies have going on. They get into arguments sometimes, but this isn't really like our fight, this is their situation. We should let them handle it.
Right. And then you see the converse. Eugene is handling it completely different. He wants to defend his wife. He wants to be in the mix and say, no, Dr. Damon, handle Heavenly. Handle Dr. Heavenly. Let her know what she's doing, what she's saying, how she's behaving towards Toya, and in general is not appropriate. Right? So he is really, like you're saying, trying to put Dr. Damon's feet to the fire, but Dr. Damon isn't having any of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I could kind of tell, I think the men were kind of getting a little like, okay, guys, let's move on, because obviously Damon's not doing anything to check his wife. He's not going to feed into this conversation. So let's just move on. So King was like, hey, why don't we just let the ladies handle their business,
And because I think the feeling was like this could be like a powder keg. It felt like there was potential for an explosion, be it from Dr. Eugene or Dr. Damon. There seemed like potential there, and the rest of the group just wanted to like ratchet down the energy, ratchet the level down. And so to your point, Steve and Quad and everyone was just like, let's just move on. Let's just do that.
Yeah. And then it's like they start talking about something else heavy, the Med Gala. It's like they go straight from that conversation, and then Curtis is like, oh, who's going to donate to the Med Gala? Whose household is donating to the Med Gala? And it's just putting them on the spot once again.
But then it's like, I was surprised to see Steve. So all the guys, they pretty much said, yes, we're going to buy into this, because Curtis brings it up because it's Dr. Jackie, his wife's event. So I think he just wanted to like, all right, guys, the girls can't get it together. Let's talk about our households. Who is going to support? Like, let each man speak for his household, because the women are not able to get there. So he's trying to push it to that point, and everyone buys in and says they'll support, except for Steve.
And just speaking to what you said about Curtis, I'm like, this whole episode, Curtis is a very like, I guess he presents as a traditional man. Like he
Yeah.
tries to present himself as, oh, I'm the head of my household,
Yeah.
or like there's certain traditional values that I hold that we should all adhere to and different things like that. So I, like you were saying, like that's just one of the instances. Like he's just like us as men, let's speak for
Yes.
our households, and it's like,
Let's take the
sir.
leadership role. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it definitely, right then in that moment, it doesn't really backfire, but later on in the episode, it does.
Yes. Yeah, because people are like, okay, sir. Like he's just very he has a lot of issues to be talking how he talks. So,
Could
I
it
think
be?
later on in the episode it's taken it's I don't know, it's put more out in the open how his issues are trying to be presented to the group in a traditional way, but it's like some underlying misogyny in a way.
Right. And,
Hmm.
he's not the right messenger to bring that message. But could it
Hmm.
be that he might be, and we'll talk about it a little later in regards to, there had been some reports that Dr. Jackie and Curtis a few years back were divorcing due to Curtis's infidelities with an S, right? Infidelities. Um, so, but could this be Curtis being a new man, wanting to turn the chapter, turn the leaf, and say, I am now a godly man, and follow me.
Oh my gosh. And that's the part where it's like, okay, you could turn over the leaf and be like, I want to be a godly man. I want to adhere to scripture, things like that. However, if you try to project it onto other people when he has so many skeletons in his
No,
closet that
no,
have been revealed, it's like, no, people are going to push back on that because then it comes across as like holier than thou or like someone who wants
absolutely.
to just like make people feel bad or make people feel like they're less than. And we'll get it more into that because
Yeah,
we have more
but
comments on that,
yeah, and
but
it doesn't. But we like can come to it does not play well.
at all. At all.
But how do you feel about Steve? His household statement about whether or not they will contribute to the Met Gala.
I think as Steve gets more comfortable with the group, he is getting a lot more vocal, whether it's him poking fun at Dr. Eugene, like
Yes.
last episode, or him, talking about standing up for his wife, or even when he was playing football with the kids. I feel like this trip, he's gotten a lot more open with the group, and he's just
Mm,
kind of vocalizing his concerns and his views on certain things. So he's just like, yeah, I mean, you guys didn't include Dr. Mimi, so yeah, no, we're not giving anything. We have a scholarship fund at Morehouse, and
uh-huh.
we have all these things that we have going on, and we're not going to do any. And so people are like, yeah, you don't have to explain all that. But
Hmm.
he felt the need to justify the actions of not, contributing to the Met Gala. So I was like, I mean, I can't really fault him for that because if they didn't include her and she's a part of it, like she's a part of the group
Right.
and they want her money, but they don't want her input on anything.
Hmm.
I don't know.
And it's not like she is a new cast member. Like she made the point. She's not new. She's been on the cast for since the last season. They've attended the Met Gala and actually didn't. Do you remember they had bought that bowl, that $5,000 bowl? I think Quad made it. So they really gave huge support. But I think what Steve is doing there with putting out that they have a scholarship at Morehouse, he's trying to separate himself from their non-contribution from Toya's serial non-contribution and her
Mm,
and the Eugene Toya household non-contribution because he's saying like no, we're not just like not in a giving or in the spirit of charity, like we're doing this on our own time, right?
yeah,
Whereas Toya didn't really have an excuse for why she wasn't participating. It was just like, I'm not doing it.
exactly. I'm just going to get my wine and promote my brand.
Yeah, so he's like, no, let's differentiate the two. They're two different things. You didn't include us. That's why we're not participating. We'll attend, but we're not going to financially contribute. But then on the other hand, we are contributing to our own scholarships and charities on our own. So it wasn't necessary, I guess, for Curtis to hear that, but I think it was necessary for Steve to differentiate their actions from the Toya Bush Harris household actions.
Exactly. And then it's also for the viewers, because it's like
Mm,
now we get insight into why they're not contributing and how, like, how their impact fits in with the whole medical field. Because
mm.
now we get, okay, they are actually donating. They have this fund set up for the scholarship. And it kind of let Angel and Brandy off the hook in a way because it's like, okay, if Dr. Mimi's not contributing and she's the
Mm.
newest member besides them, like, she's not like they're newer, but she's still semi new to
Mhm.
the group, then it's like, okay, when they come back and say, I'm not contributing because you guys didn't include me, this just gave them more of a voice. So Steve kind of, to me, it covered Brandy and Angel as well in a
Yeah,
way.
I get
Like for
that.
me, because I was like, okay, because Shamar's not there, Brandy's husband, he's not there.
Right.
So now
I missed
Steve
his
can say
voice there.
something.
I
Yeah,
missed
I
his
wanted
voice
to hear
there.
him. I wanted to hear what he would have said in that
Yeah,
moment too.
100%. I would
Hmm.
have loved that. And Bernard was there, no? Was
Yeah,
Bernard?
Bernard was there just eating his fries on the side. He was just chilling.
I feel like Bernard didn't say not more than, or at least they didn't include him saying more than like two lines this since last episode and this episode. I don't think they had him speak at all. There was no like Bernard focus
Yeah,
this
and I think
episode.
Angel did a good job of squashing it before it snowballed, before like they felt like there was some sort of romantic interest between the two, or like,
Mm,
before it was like we got to see them in a romantic light, because from the beginning, from when he got, there to Jamaica, she's just like, yeah, this is a friend. We're not even sharing rooms. So we're just like,
right.
we're not as invested in them as we would in, say, a King and Quad, who are like romantically involved, and we know that that's an actual relationship. It's more like this dude is just here
He's
for
just
to
here.
be
Right.
here.
Right. No, that's a good point. She did a good job at that. I agree with it. And so like, how do you feel about the guys? Okay, kind of segueing from that. The guys getting massages, the girls getting massages. It seemed fun and harmless,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it. In my opinion, I'm like, I feel like they were making it more of a big deal. I could understand, let's say, if they were like half naked or something, or if there was
Yeah.
like, they if there was some touching or something like that above the waist. I don't know. But I just felt like they were making a big deal out of it.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
And then here comes Heavenly talking about, oh yeah, my man doesn't get massages unless I choose the person who massages him. And he sure did get a massage. And she asked him, "Did you get a massage, Daddy?" Nope. He's like,
I know.
"Nope."
I was like,
I was like,
huh? She's going to
"What?"
see this back. Like, but I thought it was funny because as soon as the ladies came over there, they were just like, oh, who wants a massage? Immediately, the first person who said they wanted a massage, Curtis.
Of course. Oh.
This
And
guy.
who said something about don't get in trouble now? Was it King?
I think was it King or Scott? Who says?
It
I
was
don't.
one of the two. Because it's like, slow down, sir.
Yeah. And- I don't know. It's just Curtis is just so confusing to me. But
Yeah, I think he's one of those people who can can like really pinpoint the the faults and the details outward at what the other people are exhibiting, but he's has a blind spot to his own, or he feels like, okay, I've grown, and so my past should not be applied to my present. But no, everything applies.
yes,
You don't live in a
absolutely.
vacuum. Everything applies, and people are looking at you. You're being judgmental to them, and they're feeling like, who are you to judge? To
Yeah.
cast the first stone as who? Damon said later on
Yeah.
in the episode, Dr. Damon. So it's just like it's unnecessary to sit on the high horse of judgment the way that Curtis is, because I know he wouldn't appreciate it being done to him. I absolutely do. It's obvious. It's known. Like whenever the group tries to hold him accountable. For instance, Toya saying, "You grabbed me to sit on your lap. You grabbed my hips and had me sit on your lap." It's like no accountability. He won't take it. He won't see it. He's completely blind to it, and he's happy to allow Jackie to kind of spin the story a bit in a way to
Yes.
now have a retelling that Toya just went ahead and sat on her husband's lap, and that wasn't the case. The video, run the tape. And they've run the tape. The video supports. He grabbed her and positioned her to sit on his lap. But he won't take those self accountability points, which I think hurts him in the end when he tries to give those points of refinement to other people. It's just like, who are you to say that?
Exactly, because at that point it comes across as like a hit dog will holler. It's like this guy, you have all of these faults and flaws, and yet you're trying to point out the same exact things in other people. Like if he's talking about fornication or whatever type of thing he's talking about, like, sir, you've been accused of worse
Of worse.
on your actual wife. So
Pipe
I
down.
don't,
Pipe
yes.
down.
Yes. And then the ladies are having their time with the massages. I don't know. How did you feel about the massages? Did you feel like they were appropriate or like, did you feel like they were fine?
I didn't get any like trigger warning or any type of red flag from that whole situation at all. It seemed fine. But what I was interested more was the conversation that was brought up to Quad.
Mm-hmm.
Quad in regards to her relationship. A few ladies, Toya and Heavenly, were running point, I think, on letting her know that why are you giving wife benefits to a man that's not your husband?
Exactly. Exactly.
And point
And
well made.
yes, point well made indeed. It was like they're calling it out too because I think that they see that this is not working. Like there's
Yeah,
something odd about this. And I
yeah,
think everyone's kind of trying to clue her into the fact that he's not trying to make you his wife or like, he's not really because on the last episode, I forgot who said it, but they were like, yeah, Quad is like my man, and
yes,
he's
Contessa and
yeah.
Scott.
Yeah, and he's not giving that same energy. She's not reciprocating it. And I think everyone in the group can see that. If they can notice it, I'm sure Dr. Heavenly and Toya can notice it. They're very perceptive and they're calling it out in that moment. And I think in this stage, like in this episode, Quad is still in the denial stage,
Mm.
because it's
Yes,
not only this part, but like later on in the episode when she's like, I want to have his children. I want him to be the leader of her. I think, or it may have been at that point. And it's like she's talking like this, like they're in a good place.
I know. She was
And
going hard for him.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was now or later because, like the same type of intensity of a conversation was had.
Hmm.
But she was saying that I don't want to be a wife or I just, she just wants to be, she just wanted a baby is what the messaging that came out of it. But what I thought was interesting, it could have been a little later in the conversation at dinner, at the couples therapy, when when the women and the men separated, um, Quad came out and said something very interesting that King had proposed to her at some
Yeah.
point.
That was while they were still on the rafts. Yeah.
Oh, was it the raft?
Yeah. Yeah. She said that he proposed to her and she said no.
Because it was so low ball. They were in his condo. It was a regular day. There was no plan in place. There was nothing. She didn't take him seriously. He just wanted to go down to the courthouse and just like throw it on her. Honestly, what?
Now, the question in my mind is, do I honestly believe that that's how it happened?
You question it.
I do.
Because her statement is that happened. He gave a lowball proposal. She disregarded it. And then his energy like shifted immediately since that point. That is her story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's her story. And I'm like, it could have went that way, how she said it, or it could have been a situation where maybe this happened the year before they started IVF, or it happened a while ago or
Okay.
something. And then, but I'm like, I don't think that that's the catalyst. I really don't think that that's why he resents her because he acts like he resents her at this point. Like he acts just very callous towards her, disrespectful, saying slick things. I don't know if it would be because of a marriage proposal. I don't know if that happened like recently or
Right.
happened a while ago and then she put the IVF thing, in his face and then it's like, okay, you have to go with me on this or whatever. And then that's where their relationship went downhill. It just seems like there's way more than that situation that happened, I think he would have said something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I also cannot see him proposing like that for some reason. He just seems like
Oh,
and I'm like, maybe he would, but he seems like a traditional man in that way. Like he would get down on one knee, he would have a ring. Like, I don't know. He just doesn't seem like that. Like he would just be that dismissive of a proposal.
right.
But, I don't know. I don't know. I do want to hear from him. I wonder if he's going to be on the reunion because that would be crazy if he gets to explain his side of the
Oh my
story.
gosh, that'd be amazing. I wonder because so every episode, at the end of the episode, we get these flash forwards. So at the end of next episode, I think we'll know. Hopefully, we'll know if he's there or not. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we see a little clip of him seated behind Quad or not.
Yeah, they've already given a new clip of the reunion. So they've already filmed the reunion and they put out a clip actually today. So
I haven't seen it.
yeah, no, yeah. So we'll see. We will
Okay,
see.
okay,
Hmm.
okay. We'll see how it plays out. But it's obvious that there's tension there. It's obvious that I think really what suffered, and he said it later on in the episode, it's like I don't know how Quad was treating him during the IVF journey. We can only, he said it was, he's worn down from just her moods and her attitudes towards him. And it seems like he really took it personally. Like maybe her disappointment was kind of dumped on him. Sometimes the closest person to you gets the brunt of your emotions, your bad feelings. You speak, sometimes, people speak reckless to their partners. And it seems like maybe some of that was going on just by the telling of how, King is saying like he had to like endure a lot of how she treated him, especially in Kenya or Ghana.
Yeah, Ghana.
Thank you.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It looks like there was a lot of injury done to
Yeah.
the relationship during that hard, rocky time that is they just weren't able to recover from. He wasn't able to recover from. He was like the disrespect. It seems like he feels like he was disrespected.
Absolutely. And she's ungrateful and she's like, she takes him for granted and all of that stuff. But do you think that that is like the reason? Like, how do you feel about the proposal and what she said about that?
I took it for face value. So interesting that you took it a little differently. It makes me look at it through a different lens as well. But how I took it was how she said it, to be honest.
Hmm.
But I see it more like maybe that wasn't the breaking point. Maybe the breaking point was like the fallout from the disappointment on especially on her end with the IVF. I can see that weighing heavily. He said last episode that they're not in a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Like he said it. He
Yeah.
meanwhile, like Quad is still going like full force. This is my man, my man, my man. I want this man to be the father of my children. I'm not sure if she said husband. I think she did.
Or she at least said head of household. Like
Okay,
she
head of
said head of the
household.
house. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, what is going on here? Because this man clearly is disrespecting you, in public at this point, and he's not really acting like he cares for you.
No.
So I was surprised at how much she took up for him, especially in front of the ladies. They're really trying to knock some sense into her head at this point. I feel like they're trying to do it in a subtle way though. It's not like
Hmm.
they're like coming straight out and being like he doesn't like you or whatever, but they're like trying to put in hints like let him propose to you, like you guys should push for marriage, you guys should push for a long-term thing because you don't want to
Yeah.
just make a baby with someone and then, not be in it for the long haul. So they're asking her questions to like pique her thought processes when it comes to her relationship. And I think that's what Dr. Heavenly and Toya were doing in that moment. Now, okay, do I believe that he never said anything about marriage? No, I think that he has said something about marriage before. He's probably talked about proposing or talked about, I just don't know if I believe that it happened how she said it, or maybe it happened in a different timeline and she's just not telling us that timeline. Like, I just don't see it happening while they were doing IVF or after they were doing IVF. I feel like it may have
Mm,
happened before they did IVF. This is
okay.
just my opinion though,
Right.
so we'll see, as time goes on what comes out, but I'm just like, no, there's way more to this.
That's tough. But so are we at the dinner now? When they're at dinner, do you
Um,
remember what he said? Just to going back, I'm sorry, going back to what you're saying too. Like, I thought it was so disrespectful when King, like they were doing couples therapy, they finished dinner and they're breaking out, and King was like, "I don't need therapy," and like points to her, like she needs
oh,
therapy.
I know. I was like, oh, this man doesn't like her.
No.
Like, because and then the thing is, it's like, it's springing on other things that he said to her throughout the season. Like, one time he called her a big back or something. One time he said there was nothing baby about her. Like, like he's just talking
Oh my gosh.
reckless
Do you think that was
to her.
intentional? The baby, you think that
Absolutely.
was? I hope it was a slip of
Absolutely.
the tongue, like, like, oh my gosh, I put my foot in my mouth type of thing.
I really don't, Chef. Like,
Oh
here's
my
the thing, because when
gosh.
he said it, like, she was like, they were talking about forks, like, they
Yes.
were eating or whatever, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to use the baby, and then he was goes, oh, there's nothing baby about you. To me, I
I
don't,
will. I feel like I'm gonna cry. That's terrible. If that was if that was intentional,
Chef. I mean, I don't even know if he purposely like meant it to be intentional, but I think that his mind went there. I
gotcha.
really do. I really do. Like when I heard that, I was like, oh no, you didn't. Like, are you serious?
That was
Like.
bad. That was awful. That was awful. And then she was like, "Let's be careful with our words." Like she alluded to that. Like let's be intentional about our word choice.
Yeah, and then we're all thinking like this is only what we see on camera. We don't know how
Mm.
this man talks to her on a regular basis. He's a slick guy. He's a slick guy with his words, in my opinion, because he says like rude things and it just moves on. And then it's like he just doesn't say anything. He's quiet, reserved, and then he'll say something rude, Like
True. That's true. Yikes. So I wonder what she's been dealing with off camera. But then
yeah.
she has such a brave face on camera. She's just like full steam ahead.
Yeah. And I think that's what she has, like a shell, or like a hardness around her or whatever.
Hmm.
And it's like people like he's trying to break her or like crack that or something because I'm like there's no way that you say all these mean things to her and then just expect her to continue to take it. And then she's always saying positive things about him. She's
Yes.
always lifting him up to others. She speaks highly of him, even and she talks of him like that's not even his real name. His name is Kirk. She calls him king, like she's trying to
I
put
know.
him on a pedestal.
She does.
And
She really does. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then you even see it from it's disappointing because he doesn't talk as highly. When her name comes up, he looks deflated. Like he doesn't have that same energy, but then at the same time, he tells her like, "Oh, even though she's like speaking life into him, that oh yeah, you admit that you're not attentive to me, or you admit that you're not, like all these negatives." And she's like, "Yes, I'm trying." But it's like, my goodness, it seems like one party is trying, unless like the picture is a different story off camera, and we're just completely like getting, you know, thrown off the scent.
yeah,
But
I
it
don't
seems like
know. It
one
just,
person's trying and one person is just there.
yeah, I'm like, it can't, I don't think we could be like, production can only do so much, It's like, I mean, yeah, they can present different sides of the story that make the public believe one way, but
Mhm.
I just haven't really seen where he's been uplifting to her. Like, even later on in the episode, Dr. Heavenly was like, he needs you.
Yeah, you don't
Like,
need
you don't
him.
need him. Yeah. And it's like, I just haven't really seen where he's gone out of his way to make her like feel like a queen or do anything
Mm-mm.
like that.
In a long time, in a long time, we haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So yeah, as Emily said, to your point, Quad does not need King. Quad
Hmm.
is such a strong, confident, but at the same time, you can see like maybe she's dimmed her light a little bit because of what she wants. She wants a baby, and she wants a relationship too. I don't think a marriage is necessarily number one on her list. She's done it,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was painful getting out of
Yeah.
it.
And that's another thing I can't help but think, I'm like, what if she used King to kind of get back at Dr. G because they were on the same, they were on the same season. It's like now you have your man. This man is younger. This man is like, he's tall and handsome and stuff. And you have him and Dr. G has Sweet Tea. It just the dynamic, I just don't know like if he feels like he was used because if you remember he said something when he had put it out that they had broke up. He said luck ran out, and then he said something else that alluded to like him being used or something, like she used him for something. And I mean, I don't know. It's just I really want to see like an interview with him or something.
Oh my goodness. Our interview with Carlos King or us.
I know, right? King, come on.
Come on our show, King. Let's have a chat. Let's have a fireside chat with you
Yes.
and get your perspective because we're just hearing, everyone supports Quad.
Mhm.
We do see that in some interviews that King is supported by the Bush Harris family, which is lovely. But we're not really hearing anything. I don't think we're going to hear too much either from Quad herself on the details. I think she's very spokesman, here are the publicist details. As much as I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to delve in. Maybe next season more things will come out regarding
Yeah.
the fallout. We don't know. That would be
Yeah.
interesting. I think it would come from anyone. It would probably come from Heavenly and Dr. Simone.
Something is going to come out this reunion though, because it's like there's been so much viewership of their relationship, so much
Yes.
around surrounding their relationship. I believe this is going to be one of the main topics on the reunion.
Mm.
So we'll find out. You guys stay tuned and follow us because we're going to be breaking it down here.
We sure will. We sure will. Okay, so the dinner ends and then they split up, right? You have
Mhm.
the guys and the girls, and the guys get an actual psychologist
I
to
know. I thought that
guide them
was nice.
through. That was cool. I thought, like, why didn't the girls get one? You have Mimi, but Mimi need she's
Yeah,
not
Mimi's
on the clock.
she's a part of the group. Like that's a conflict already. You cannot have her.
Yeah, she's not on
Yeah.
the clock. Come on now. She's on vacation. She should be
Yeah.
treated like everyone else. But it was cool and how they did have that psychologist for the guys and they went around everyone saying how long they've been together. Did you catch how Eugene said when they went around the, circle and everyone introducing how many years they've been together? Eugene was like, we have two people who are not married, but they're in a couple. King, who is madly in love.
Yes, yes.
I was like, what? And
Oh,
we
like
know,
you are provoking, sir. You know exactly what you're doing.
you know exactly what you're doing because we know that they have a good relationship. So King at this point presumably has said a bit to Dr. Eugene off camera about the relationship or, what's going on. Maybe not to the nitty gritty details, but I think Dr. Eugene knows that these two people aren't deeply, madly, in love. And come on, he was definitely stirring the pot a little bit.
Yes, for sure. And then, right before they left to do their breakout sessions, did you see how Simone talked to King and she was just like, try not to be so chauvinistic.
I know.
He was like, what are you talking about?
I say, what are you talking about,
She's just like, try not
lady?
to. I was like, oh my gosh, like, are they seeing so many more things that we're not seeing?
Of course,
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah, because I'm
100%.
like, okay, I guess a lot of people are able to identify that, he has some issues now.
I think
So,
it's so interesting that she would say that though, because it also shows a crack in Quad's presentation, right? So it's like she's probably, but then Simone is getting it from both. She's everything that Cecil hears, he's telling Simone. They have that type
yeah.
of relationship for sure.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, you know what? You guys bicker. You guys definitely have some issues that you need to work through and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I anticipate they will be together forever. That's just my thought. I
Yeah.
feel like they love each other so much and they have a fun, like, just, I don't know, best friend dynamic
They
to them.
do.
Yeah, and I really like it. I like it. I like the dynamic. They have
Yeah.
issues, like there
Like
are
everyone
issues that I
else.
don't like,
Right, right,
seeing
right,
as a
right.
viewer and everything, but they definitely have like that best friend relationship that is just invaluable when it comes to like
Yeah.
marriage and stuff. So,
Yeah.
No, I'm rooting for him.
Oh, 100%. I think even if they didn't last, and I believe they will, they would still maintain a heavy presence in each other's lives.
Yeah,
It's like they have a symbiotic relationship. They do. They like rely on each other. And
exactly,
they have a
exactly.
great time together, like you said.
Yeah.
They enjoy each other's company when it doesn't get heavy. They have a great time when it's light.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I think Cecil has been chopping his gums to Simone and just telling her what's
Mhm.
going on and stuff within the guides. Even when they had the massages, it's like they're the ones who were talking about
Yeah.
who got what massage and everything like that. And they're just laughing about it. Like it's
Yeah.
just funny to them. They're just
Yeah.
having fun. But
Exactly. So Simone having the wherewithal to make that comment to King, I think she's getting it from both sides. She's three sides. What she's observing, what Quad is telling her, and there's obviously some breaks in what Quad says once in a while. And then what Cecil tells her. Because when it comes to what Quad tells the girls, we saw a little bit of a change, right? In that breakout session,
yeah.
Quad actually admitted, like, there's sometimes he says things like, why would he say this to me? Why would he treat me this way in a certain ways, right? Like, she's not oblivious to it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
happening. She notices it. And it's a complete difference in her messaging from the raft.
It is. It is. And I think Dr. Heavily, she saw kind of a crack, she saw a way through because that's when she had the whole conversation about how people that you love are going to disappoint you. And she was like, you don't need him. He needs you. You're
Hmm.
giving him money. You're giving him,
Time.
affection, intimacy, all that stuff. And what is he giving you? Like,
Yeah.
he's not even giving you a
Attitude.
proposal. Like, yeah, exactly. He's giving you negativity.
Yeah.
And so, but then she was like, I know he has disappointed me sometimes, and I don't care. I still love him. She kind of
Yeah.
went
The
off.
love is strong enough for it to like push through. And it's like, lady, you sound like someone who's just kind of like just stubbornly standing still and holding ground, but you know that you're standing on sand. You're not standing on like you're standing on quicksand.
Yeah, no, at this point, she's still in denial. She is still in Delulu land, and it's like she needs to come
Yeah.
out of it. But the ladies are trying to see where they can get in and like understand where she's coming from, but they're also like, you need to understand where we're coming from, and we see some things that you're not seeing. Like I feel like
Yeah.
they're just trying to tell her, hey, this may not be where you want to go.
And she kind of like responds with like she feels like, okay, I'm not giving King more attention. Like there are things that I could be doing better. But like what type of attention, more of attention is she like would he need? Like what I would love to know more about that. Like is he saying that you're not cooking? I think she said like I'm not cooking every night like I used to anymore. Like girl, that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
Cooking every night?
if cooking every night is what he needs, then like he needs to get a chef. Like there's so much more to relationships than that type of,
Correct.
just cooking every night or whatever. Like she has done so much to support him, to even support his business. Like, I don't know. For him to call her ungrateful, I was like, ooh,
Yeah, no, he like came out and said it. And for the first time, it was like the last scene. But for the first time, I saw Quad break and get mad. Like she's never truly. I've seen disappointment, I've seen sadness, I've seen a range of emotions towards towards King, but this time and the time where he wouldn't share his fish with her, those are the two times where I've seen her break and be like, no, now you're going too far.
yeah,
You're actually pissing me off.
yeah, yeah.
You're actually pissing me off.
It's tough seeing their relationship deteriorate. I mean, but I feel like this whole season their relationship has deteriorated, so it's
Yeah.
like just seeing it to this point, it's like, oh my gosh, you guys just need to wrap this up. Like he doesn't like you, and
Yeah.
she loves him, but it's like she needs to realize it's just going to take her. I think it takes a lot of people a while to
Yeah.
realize that things are just not going to work out. So it's not like she's the only person who's ever done this or she's so, ridiculous for doing this. It's like this happens to a lot of people. So,
So
yeah. Yeah.
let's
But I
go
did.
back. Huh?
Oh, but I was just going to say, I did think that the ladies had a breakthrough with each other as far as being vulnerable, like within the
Mm-hmm.
group. Dr. Mimi's
Dr.
talking
Mimi.
about how she is, trying to handle her son and how her marriage dynamic has shifted because of having a son with special needs and just
Yeah.
what her expectations are and how she had to kind of quell those in despite what she thought her son would be, she has to deal with what he is.
Yeah.
And so I thought that that was just really powerful because there are a lot of people who have, children with special needs and stuff. And I just feel like they
Mm-hmm.
could relate to what she was saying.
Absolutely. And it was a real moment. This is her life. She gave us a snippet of her life. Just like, it's the grieving, the expectation of your how your child will be to, be fully independent, right? And not knowing if that will be. So she
Yeah.
was really real. She was really real about that. And I think you're right. A lot of people in that similar situation can like connect and feel that, okay, I'm not alone in this feeling. I'm not a bad parent for feeling this way. This is common. This is a normal process of understanding, like, how to deal with the situation. So I think that was really good of her to bring that to the ladies and to the viewers. And then also like what she needs from her husband too, because from this point in time, if we're seeing like a very perfect kind of like relationship between them two. They're able to like, hand off the child responsibilities really well. They seem to like satisfy each other's emotional needs. But then Mimi said like sometimes I need my husband to like reaffirm me and to say I'm a
Yeah.
good mom and that he sees me, right? And so it's like she also brought that down to earth as well. Like, not everyone's relationship isn't perfect. Mine isn't perfect. And she's like opening up and sharing that with everyone, and that, she has needs too. And it's about communicating them. But I really like how she kind of brought us in a real way,
Yeah.
in a really
Yeah.
real way.
Yeah, you could tell that she's trying to connect with the group and
Yes,
she's trying to, open up or whatever and like let her guard down a bit. And part of me, I'm like, okay, I love that everyone's being vulnerable here. I just don't want these vulnerabilities to be used against them in the future by someone in the group, namely
listen,
Dr. Hebley, but it could be
listen.
anybody. But it just feels like whenever people share like their deepest fears or like emotions and different things like that, it's always like thrown back into their face at some point.
It tends to backfire. And I honestly honed in on that same point when Quad was being super open and then Mimi followed after. But when Quad was like being really emotional and open about the relationship and the state of it with the ladies, Toya was like, "Oh, that's growth. You're opening up to us." And I'm like, "Why is that growth? Why is me spilling my business to you some sort of achievement for you? So you can like, keep score and throw it back in my face when at the next convenient moment. Why is that growth?"
Yeah, I thought that was a weird comment to say too. It's just like just let her be. Like just let her be your friend, be her friend, be supportive, but she didn't have to say that. I thought
She
that was
didn't.
weird.
She didn't. She didn't. I thought that was weird too. Um, but interesting. I think Toya did a lot of things between these two, the games, the breakout scenes. Like one of the games was like bringing up the names of the person who like, and she got called for some interesting like the person who's most likely
Yes.
to
Yell
call
out
out
someone's
someone else's name.
yes, yes. Uh-huh.
And it's just like, and everyone said Toya.
Does she not see? Well, honestly, I think she knows at this point. I think she's kind of playing into it because even
Yeah,
the confessionals
she's
with
having
Dr.
fun with
Eugene,
it.
it's like it's fun for her because
She's
when
having
they were
fun with
talking
it.
about the massages and stuff, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I got a charged massage or whatever," and he was
Yeah.
like, "Wow,
Not when
you
you
were
were married to me.
married?" Yeah, and she was like,
Not when
"Yeah,
you
it
were married to
was."
me. Yeah.
Eh,
I think you know what Dr. Eugene said it right. He said that he said that he tells her all the time when they get in arguments that no other person would be able to deal with Toya Bush Harris. Like
Yes,
he was built to deal with her, is what he says. Because his patience for this lady is God sent.
it
It really
is.
is. It absolutely is. The things that she says, the things that he's like, you can see he's startled a lot of times by revelations. It's just like, wait, what? You said what? You did what? What's happening? Married to me? Uh-huh. Yes. Well, okay, let's move on then.
I'm surprised that she keeps doing this though. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, it's well, no, I don't. It's just not funny to me. It's not funny how much she plays with
In his
her
face.
relationship and plays in his face like this. I
Because
don't
she
know.
knows
It's
she can get
crazy.
away with it because then you
Yeah.
have someone telling you on the other hand that I'm built to deal with you. So whatever you throw my way, I'm gonna swallow it. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna endure it. I'm gonna endure it to the end. What?
That's crazy. I don't know. It's just it is a weird dynamic to me. I don't know when it comes to that. There are some aspects of their relationship where I'm like, "Oh my goodness, that's awesome. You guys take up for each
Right.
other, and you love each other. You can tell that the love is there." But there's a difference between their playfulness and the playfulness of Cecil and Dr. Simone. It's like
Yeah.
their playfulness, it's like she's picking at him. Toya's picking at him.
Bullying.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, it kind of feels like it.
Yeah,
It
it
seems like
does.
it. Like the joke is always at Eugene's expense. It's not like a let's laugh together at some ridiculous thing that happened. It's more like let's laugh at you.
Yeah.
Well, let me laugh at you and let you shake your head and be like, okay, whatever. You
I'm
know?
really let the group laugh at him too because it's like she's not like she's taking up for him. Like when they put her name down on that thing for the game, when they
You just
typed her
start
name in,
laughing, bust
she
out
just
laughing.
yeah.
So unserious. Just like,
Yeah. And then they voted Dr. Eugene most likely to give unsolicited advice.
and she agreed.
Yeah, she was like,
You're always in my business. You're always in the
yeah.
back talking, 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 talking. I wonder if she's low key just like slightly annoyed.
I think she is. And this is kind of fun for her because it's like she gets to feed into that annoyance by poking fun at him.
Blow off some steam with it. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, that's bad.
That is bad. Talking about opening up, Dr. Damon opened up about his son.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a lot. He really showed his hurt. And it also like I thought that the son was talking to Dr. Damon, but not Dr. Heavenly.
Yeah. I did too. And I wonder if that's because, okay, so you see how Dr. Damon takes up so much for Dr. Heavenly?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he does that like with whatever happened between the son and Dr. Heavenly. It's like if Dr. Damon or she's pushing him to like get the son and her to talk, or if he's like, if the son feels like his dad is just always going to take up for his mom no matter what she does or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. We don't know what type of dynamic is there or why he's not speaking to his mom, but I could see where someone could be just put off by how Dr. Damon takes up for Dr. Heavenly's like bad behavior. Because
Mm,
even Dr. Eugene is at the point where he's like, I may stop being friends with Dr. Damon because this
yeah,
is just too much. Like, he
right.
cannot hold her accountable. He can't tell her that she's wrong. And, who knows? Maybe that the son is kind of like, let me just step back from both of you.
Mm.
I don't know, but it's a sore spot for him for sure.
Yeah, that could be, yeah, that's some good insight potentially on the matter because it seemed like Dr. Damon was having a fine relationship on the side with the son and communicating with the son, and now it seems like, it's this whole sore spot, like no one even knows what's going on with the son. Maybe his siblings know, but the parents aren't like kept in the loop directly. And it's really hurting them. Dr. Heavenly alluded to that too, right? Like she's like on edge when it comes to not knowing where her son is, not having that communication line open. Um, and I saw Angel kind of being more like, you just gotta like, raise him right and let go and let God.
Yeah, yeah. And then Heavenly's like, no,
No,
like that's not how this
doesn't happen
works.
that way. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think a lot of people would agree with Heavenly that doesn't happen that way. Like when you get to the point of that age range with your kid, and it's a time where you hope that you guys can like have a more mature relationship, right? Like more less than mother child and more like or child parent and more just like okay, you're a young adult now. I'm going to treat you like in that way, right?
Yeah.
But instead it's more so just like excommunicado, no communication, no relationship growth. That's rough. You don't know if he's dead or alive. Sometimes you're worrying. Even Simone resonated with that
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Michael. Sometimes just like not knowing where your kid is, you worry so much you have to just let it go. Which is a fear of mine, to be open and honest. Like
What?
having a kid and then it's just like your mind is just fully occupied with you become secondary
Oh
as a
yeah.
person. And like
Yeah.
first your heart is outside of your body. It's with this child who's going to make decisions and take movements in the path of life and that you may agree with or not agree with, and you're just there just like hoping for the best and you're like, oh my gosh,
I
no, that's
know.
so scary.
It definitely seems like it's a trying ordeal being a parent in general, just from like what I've heard from people is just
Right.
like, whoo, yeah. And the fact that she doesn't know where he's at. She has three children to
Doesn't
worry
know.
about. Like
Yeah.
the more children you have, the more you have to worry about. And she
Yes.
has three of them, and one of them is just like off the grid for her.
Hmm.
So
That's
it's
painful.
like, yeah, I'm sure it's very painful. And Dr. Damon rarely shows emotion. Like
Yeah.
he rarely shows like when he's bothered by something or when he's triggered and stuff. But with his son, it's just like such deep hurt when it comes to that. And he's just like he thought that Dr. Eugene was talking about his son. And I'm
I thought
like,
it was random. I
I
didn't I
was
didn't
like, he
get the
wasn't
segue
talking
between
about your
those two
son.
things.
Like what he didn't even say anything about his son. I just think that he's just like looking to be like triggered because he
Yeah.
just feels so like
On edge.
emotional about this. So I was like, oh my goodness, because I was worried. I was like, what did he say? Like
He didn't
I
say
was trying to
anything
listen. I was
about his
like, yeah,
son. That came out of left field, and I almost felt like he was masking a little bit the point, which is like Eugene is. I mean, sorry, Heavenly is the point. Like he's been talking to you consistently about Heavenly this entire time, and then in this moment, you're like, oh man, if you're gonna talk about my son, don't like, and you're ready to square up because like moments ago, Dr. Damon was saying, I'm on the edge. Like I'll do. Like I'm in a point where if my enemy wanted to do something to me, like now is the ideal time for me to like react and pretty much say like screw life. That was
yeah,
the messaging I got.
yeah,
And then it's
yeah.
like you're just like ready to like be pushed from the edge and say it's not your fault. And it's like no, you're pushing yourself off the edge at this point because Dr. Eugene is not doing anything. He's definitely not doing anything in terms of speaking negatively about your child. He's coming to you
Yeah.
about your wife and her mouth.
Yeah, actually going back to it, I'm wondering like you were saying, I wonder if it was some sort of deflection from the actual conversation for him to just bring up his son,
That's
because
how
I'm
I got
like
it. That's how I received it.
I didn't even think about that because I was like, why would he like what was the reason?
It
He
was
didn't
so
say anything.
random.
You're right. Yeah.
There was no connection. And Eugene was like, I would never say anything about your son. He was even trying to not even say Heavenly's name. He
Yeah.
was speaking in such generalities about the
Yeah.
woman and the woman and this and that and speaking negatively. And no, we're talking about your wife, man.
Yeah. And one of these days, I wonder if Dr. Damon's just going to go off. Like, I hope that doesn't happen, but it just seems like he has a lot of stuff in his mind. Like, he's just like sitting on a lot of emotions and a lot of
Yeah.
like just feelings when it comes to everything. And he just doesn't really let it go. Like, he never really talks about it. And I think that like someone like Steve, they'll talk about it. They'll express their feelings.
Mhm.
They're going to get it out. Like the group is going to know whether they're upset or whether they're happy or whatever. Dr. Damon, you never really know when he's happy, when he's upset, like when he's sad. You just don't get those emotions from him. And they're somewhere. Like it's not, he's a human, so he has those. And so I'm just wondering when it's actually going to come out and if we're going to see it like kind of explode. We'll
Right.
see.
And he's like threatening an explosion. He's threatening one. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's move on to Curtis though, because Curtis had a lot to say.
That's so much to say.
Curtis had too much to say.
I don't understand Curtis because we talked about it earlier, but there's just like two sides to him, the holier than thou, righteous indignation side where he
Mhm.
just wants to scold people and make people feel how he feels about certain situations. And then there's a side of him that is into all sorts of debauchery and he gets in trouble. He gets pictured with other women at airports, and he just has all these issues and stuff. And even the way that he talks to Jackie is just not like as affectionate, whatever,
Mhm.
considering what he has done.
Right.
Like it's just like I don't get that with their relationship. And I feel like he was projecting onto King at that point, saying, "Oh, you guys aren't doing it in the right order."
Right. Like you have to do things decent and in the right order. Like marry her first and then have a baby. But it's like, who are you to say anything? And then there's this huge conflict with his wife being Quad's IVF doctor, like one of her doctors on her IVF team. So it's like, what is going on? This is not your place. But he was coming from a Bible standpoint. I think he was Bible touting in the moment, standing on the pulpit and looking down, telling people how to live their life. And it's like, sir, how do you live your life?
Yep.
How do you live your life? Because it's
Yeah.
questionable. It's questionable.
And I thought King could have been a lot more disrespectful
Oh
than he
yeah.
was. In that moment, I know he would have if a woman had talked to him like that, I think his reaction would have been a lot different than
Oh.
Curtis talking to him like that.
Oh, like the type of man that will like square up more on a woman than another man.
Yeah,
Oh my
which to me gives like flashbacks to Dr. G.
Oh,
I don't know, I'm like, it's like this is a different side of King that I'm seeing. And with Simone making that chauvinistic comment,
yes.
it's like I'm wondering if and I remember earlier in the season he said you need to get we need to have a masculine child. I don't know if you remember that. He said that earlier in the season, and it's like I'm wondering if there's some underlying misogyny with him. I don't know for sure. But
Mhm.
it's just interesting because I was like, Curtis is talking reckless to you right now.
He is. And he's not really doing much to like push him back. Like not aggressively. He's
Yeah.
more so taking offense, but he's not there's no like outward like violence like he had towards Dr. G ripping what did he rip his shirt
Oh,
off and
oh
he's
yeah, when
chasing
they were
Dr.
at
G on
the
the beach?
yes. That was crazy.
That wasn't in any place evident at the moment against Curtis. But do you see like connections between personality wise between Dr. G and King?
I'm starting to.
Ooh,
I'm starting to. Before I didn't, I was thinking, oh,
yeah,
this is a step up, like this is different. And that's one thing where I'm like, I've been thinking about this more and more. I'm like, people a lot of times like when people are drawn to certain personalities and certain characteristics and people and whether they know it or not, they may not even see it until later on in the relationship, but it's
yeah.
like they just have certain things that traits that they're drawn to, and I'm like, is this like a repeat but just in a different form,
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
and
different packaging, but
yeah.
same elements. Oh
Yeah, and if
man.
so, then that may be a good decision that you all didn't have a family together. I mean, I do much wish her the best with having a child, but he may not have been the right person to do it with. Because the way that he's acting right now, it's just like, oof, bring a child into that, it would be 10 times more dramatic.
It would be.
Hmm.
Yikes. Oh, that is that hurts my heart, honestly, because the connection between it's like you do if you're not healed, and I think Quad would say she is healed, but if you're not healed in the sense of like maybe going to therapy and just like giving yourself a full examination of like what it is that causes you to choose certain types of people, you will continue to choose the same types of people over and over again,
Yep.
right? Because the disrespect is definitely there. It's definitely, and you know what? I have not seen the early episodes, the early seasons of showcasing the deterioration between Quad and Dr. G. Like I haven't gone back, but I've seen some flashbacks and they weren't good.
Yeah, I have, and it's just it was intense, and it's like the same type of energy, like dismissive and like just belittling, and just aggressive for no reason. Like it's that same type of energy, and I'm just like, dang, man, like I don't know if it's the same type of personality per se, but it's
Right.
the same type of energy that's being directed at Quad. And I'm like, dang, I'm sure she's having some flashbacks too when she's interacting with King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
Curtis saying all this stuff to King, despite all of what King is going through with Quad, it was just inappropriate.
It
It
was.
was just so inappropriate. And I'm glad that Steve called it out. He was like, yo, man, I want you to apologize. I think he said
Yeah.
that in the
Yeah.
confessional,
I want you
but
to take it back.
yeah, I
Yeah.
want you to
He's
take
like,
it back. Yeah, because
yeah.
this is just not the time or
It's
the
not a
place to do
time.
that.
And it's
Even
like
if you feel like that, it's not, don't say that out loud.
no, absolutely not. And then it's like it's not like he just made a one-off throwaway comment. He like doubled down. He's like, God has rules. God requires order and decency, the Bible, and this and that and that. And it's like, we get it, but you're not going to if you're expecting to like facilitate a breakthrough with King, you're not doing it. This is not the way.
Right.
He's not gonna see the light and have an aha moment because you are publicly shaming him. Like, and
Yeah.
like trying to involve yourself in his relationship. And King even said it. King said something very interesting. He said, I feel the guys are more pressuring me to get married than Quad is.
Yeah.
Quad just didn't have it on her book to do. She's been there, done that. She wanted to have a kid, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think
what
she
it
had
sounded
anything to
like.
do with
That's
this.
what it sounded like. And then another like interesting thing about what Curtis said is like he and Jackie have had issues with fertility.
With who? With
With
what?
fertility, with
Yes, yes,
having a
yes,
child. And it's
yes.
like for him to bring that up and say your IVF journey failed because you are not married. It's like you guys are married. Curtis and Dr. Jackie are married. So what's their, it's like it just didn't make sense, because anybody can struggle with fertility.
Right.
It
But
doesn't, yeah, I don't know. I just thought that that was weird considering he and his wife have had those same issues with fertility.
so I heard Quad say that towards the end of the episode when she's talking with and were they in King's condo? Because that looked like a different place.
It did.
I think it was King's condo. But she she kind of said that yeah, Jackie has been blowing her up and apologizing because like you said, Curtis pretty much said that IVF didn't work because they're not married. But I didn't hear Curtis say those words.
Well, I think it was insinuated by what he was
Okay.
saying. He was like, you're worried about this working and you're wondering why things, are going the way that they are, but you guys haven't done things in the right order. You're not doing things decently at this point. It's just I understand how the takeaway is that their thing that IVF and their wanting to have a family isn't working because they are not doing it in the right order. I just feel like that could be insinuated. He didn't necessarily say that, but
Yeah.
it was just so judgmental that it rose to the level of okay, like this is I could see how they took that away
Yeah,
from
I
the
can see how they
conversation.
took it away, but he didn't say that,
Hmm.
And it's just
Yeah.
like to then now repackage it as though he said this really actually awful thing. He was being judgmental, and I don't co-sign what Curtis said, but he was saying like the biblical way is to get married and then to have kids. He didn't say you can't have a child because you're not married. He's just saying like make a what's that phrase that they say? Like a phrasing, like make a respectable woman out of her in a sense
Yeah.
when you
Hmm.
to marry her, right?
Hmm.
Like do right by her. That is what I was getting from Curtis in a harsh, very, you know, pilgrim way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the judgmental undertones that came
Yeah.
along with it, where it was like, okay, you're judging like our whole situation, because he did bring up there, he was like, you guys are trying to have a baby
Hmm.
and you're not doing things in order.
Right.
So it's like, I think it was that judgmental like undertone of the whole conversation. And it could be perceived that way. But I get what you're saying, though. He didn't directly say that it was correlated, their
Right.
IVF to them not being married. And in a way, he did say the same thing that the ladies were saying to Quad earlier in the episode about,
Hmm.
hey, you need to be married before you bring a child into this. You need to have things like solidified and make sure that you guys are going to be long term before you add, you know, a
Right.
family. So he said similar things to the ladies, but for some reason, coming from him, it just felt so much heavier and so
Uh-huh.
much more judgmental. And I think that's why it's like they did take and insinuate certain things from what he was saying because of how judgmental he came across.
Yeah, 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 for sure. And no, in no way do I agree with what Curtis did or how he delivered it. You know,
Yeah.
if this is something you want to say, you take King to the side. I don't think you deliver it in such a, a harsh, ooh, it was just
Public manner, yeah.
public, embarrassing manner. So
Yeah.
not even the woman came at Quad with that level of aggression.
Yeah. And I honestly don't knock him for his conviction on that. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that everyone is entitled to how they view things, especially when it comes to that, like values and stuff like that. However, it was just the way that he did it. It was
Yeah.
just so inappropriate.
Yeah, I agree. That was a lot. That was a
Yeah.
lot. Oh, can
Man.
I give a short shout out mention to Contessa and
Oh,
Scott? Okay, Contessa, she got the assignment for that night's outfit. She
yes,
looks
Neon Nights. Yes.
she looks so cute.
He
I loved her
did.
outfit. It was like that flower in the middle, and it was just like so flattering to her. And just like an overall season shout out, like Contessa has been the most unproblematic cast member. She's having a positive season.
She is. She is. And this was the best outfit that I've seen her in all season.
Yes.
So I'm like, she deserves that shout out because now she finally get it right with the outfit, with the theme. Because every single time it's like they'll have an event and she'll come and I'm like, what? Did you understand what the theme of the night
Yes.
was? Like,
She's like,
you're
I just
wearing a
felt like
totally,
wearing
yeah, she just wears
I
what
just
she
wore
wants to
it.
wear. But
She
this
wore
time she
it.
actually tried and she did really well with staying on theme.
She looks so good. I'm just proud of Contessa. She's just like, I'm just gonna be a breath of fresh air this season. I'm not getting in the muck with anybody. No one's taking me down emotionally. She had a moment in the beginning of the season where it's like, it's a little touch and go with her and Scott, and her saying a little bit too much about Scott because like when it comes to it, she doesn't want her words thrown back in her face.
Yeah.
So she was doing a little bit too much, like he wasn't helping her with her party, but like she just like completely shut up, which was nice for the rest of the season and just went on this positive note. And kudos to Contessa. She definitely gets the highlight shout out of the week for sure for this episode.
Yes, no, you're spot on with them because I was like, yeah, Contessa has been but she contributes a lot to the group.
She does. She's
Yeah,
like a
and
glue factor.
yes, she is. She is. And she did a great job putting on that trip in Florida and stuff. Like she's trying and she's being positive. She's being a light in the group. So,
Hmm.
yes.
I
Shout out
love
to
it.
Contessa.
Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Okay, do you have any final words for the trip before we head back to that last scene in King's condo?
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Yeah. but the trip was nice. That was the last night in
Beautiful.
in Jamaica. That was a really special night, I think, for the group. I think that they learned each other more, they bonded more, they were vulnerable with each other.
Yes.
Having the therapist for the guys, I think that that helped them actually have a conversation,
Hmm.
because it's like without the therapist, I'm sure they would just be, you know,
Talking about
yeah, just talk about
random
whatever.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this allowed them to open up and share their
Mm-hmm.
feelings and stuff. We just got to know the men a little bit more. And it's like the ladies, they directed that whole process,
Yeah.
and they were still able to be vulnerable. They were still able to like come together and just, I don't know, they're good. They're good. This season
Yeah.
has been really good as far as everyone bringing something to the table.
It has. And it was a definitely success of a trip. It was a
Yeah.
successful trip.
Yeah. I did miss Brandy and Shamar. I felt like
Oh, I
they
know.
would have added, to the group and everything. And I feel like them missing these moments is kind of not allowing them to mesh as well with
Yes,
the
the
group
bond.
because they need that bonding time with them. But, I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for them. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I really liked this Jamaica trip. I thought it was
Very
well done.
positive. There was no arguing. There was no breakout fight. There was no like the worst that happened was Eugene. You remember Eugene at the beginning of the trip? He read out the guidelines for the
Yeah, like the
couples,
friendship.
their
Yes.
friendship, and if whoever is like out of bounds needs to take him or herself to the room. Like he took his own self to his room. Remember, he was so upset with the Toya issue, so he like adhered to his own established guidelines, which was lovely. He took himself, excused himself from the group, went to his room, which was hilarious to me. But other than that little shakeup that night, it was a smooth trip.
It
There was
was.
no like brawling argument, people tearing each other down. Like, you have your touches of heavenly, but to be expected. There was nothing ripping the friendship group apart. If anything, I think this trip brought them together.
Yeah, I do too.
Miramar Beach started it, and then Jamaica solidified it. It was lovely.
Yeah, it was really nice. And I think it's everybody was on good behavior, for the
Yes,
most part.
for the
Even
most
Dr.
part.
Heavenly, it's like she had her moments, but she did try. I think she tried more towards the end of the trip. Like tried
To be
to,
good.
yes, like tried. I mean, because it's like how she went when she was talking to Toya, when she was going back and forth with Toya, and they're like, she's saying you're full of, whatever. And then when they're on the rafts, she was sitting right next to Toya.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
no,
like,
no peep. She was just chill.
they were
And
just,
Toya
yeah,
was there laughing and they all having a good time.
yeah. So
Like
I think
they're
she
just,
tried. I really do. You
yeah,
know, I think
okay.
they all were doing, their best and stuff to just bond and just make it a relaxing trip. And they did that. I thought it was really good.
That was mature. That was
Hmm.
mature of them. And in light with the couples trip, which is to like get these people closer together and not necessarily tear them apart, which is nice. A lot of these other like trips and on different franchises within the Bravo world, it's usually like just a perfect breeding ground for like more drama to occur. But that didn't happen here at all. And I'm
Nope.
proud of my sisters and brothers. That's how we should be.
Yes, every time. If you guys can do that every time, except, the minor glitches, but every time,
Of
yeah.
course. The glitches are to be, expected, but the broad strokes were good.
Yeah.
Positive strokes for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All
And
right.
that last scene, oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
do we get into it?
We
Yeah,
got
we
to get into
do.
it.
Oh my gosh. It was a serious moment. That was this,
Yeah.
okay. This is when I knew like this whole scene was gonna be off. When she's in the bathroom, King comes and he has a glass of, or some juice in his hand. She wants to like have a sip of it. He said, none for you. And so she's like, oh, is there something in it? Or he's like, no, it's just juice. I'm like, this is like the fish all over again. Like
Yeah.
you do not like her. Just like, and he's like, it's not like I'm just joking. Have some. It's a
Yeah.
full stop. No.
Yeah. If somebody does that, it's like they don't like the person. They really don't like the person. If they're not willing to even share like anything with them, it's just it is off. It's off-putting to see on TV, like just how he treats her and stuff. Because I'm like, you guys are supposed to be in a relationship. You're supposed to be, according to Dr. Eugene, deeply in love with each other, you
Deeply,
know?
deeply, and blindly in love. And that's not what we're seeing here at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
At all.
And then so they sit down, she sits on the bed, he sits on the chair, and she's talking about how Dr. Jackie's been blowing up her phone all day, because
Mhm.
of what Curtis said, and she's trying to like just salvage what Curtis said because that is so awkward. I mean, that's her doctor, and
That's
she's
sad.
been going with her through the whole process, and for her husband to just like say that out in the open so
No.
publicly and stuff
Yeah.
and then speaking about their IVF journey, it's just like,
Inappropriate.
oof, that was just very negative.
Yeah, that was not good vibes at all. No.
Hmm.
But, like they start having like this little, chat about the relationship, and King said something that hurt my heart a little bit, man, and Quad received it as it was intended. King said sometimes two companies don't need to merge.
He said that.
What?
Oh my gosh, are you
What
kidding
an
me?
analogy. What an like got it. Got it. Loud and clear. We hear you, King.
Yep, yep. He was like, they can benefit each other being separate.
But they don't need to merge. She's like,
Yeah.
did she say careful? Like slow your
Yeah,
roll?
she said, I think she said, watch yourself or something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. And he's saying how he's tried with this relationship to the point of exhaustion. It's like he's done.
You thought.
He's done. And then he's talking about how she treated him in Ghana, which is why it seems like everything she's done up to a certain point, and I don't know what the point is, has been just like just negligible to him. He hasn't like regarded it as anything. Like for him, the relationship has been over because it's like she's saying like I've been trying, and you say I don't do this, do X, Y, and Z, and I have been reflecting and growing and doing all these things, which are very not concrete. So I don't know what those things mean. Like reflecting and growing. I don't know what that means. But for him, I don't think he's like counting that towards growth of the relationship. I think he's just biding his time until filming is over.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I get.
It's a breakdown. They're done. Like, because even if at some point they want to turn it around or whatever, I feel like the damage is already done and those emotions that he has towards her are so heavy that he's not going to come back from that. Like he resents her at this point.
Hmm.
And he doesn't like being a part of her IVF process. He's like, this is not healthy. We just need to go our separate ways. We're
Yeah. The
we're
two
done.
companies analogy like clearly said it.
Yeah, he's
Sometimes they
like, we're
don't need to
done.
merge. That means we can do our own thing and we can
Yeah,
benefit each other once in a while, maybe.
yeah.
But we are doing our own thing.
That's sad. It's
I don't,
sad to see it unfold.
I don't think it's been said clearer. I would have been just like received. You have spoken and I have received. And
Yeah,
that's it. I don't think we need to continue this anymore. It's sad.
it's so sad. And then that's pretty much where it ended.
That's where it ended. We get the flash forward to the Met Gala, which is the last episode of the season.
I'm ready for this Met Gala to be like to happen and be over with because the way that this has been a thorn in everyone's side, like for the whole
No,
season, it just
I
seems like people aren't
know.
ready to do this. Like it just doesn't seem like anybody's ready for this. Like I'm just like,
No.
but it's days away at
It's
this
days
point.
away and it's falling on Toya, and it seems like from what we're getting from the flash forwards is that she's failing. I don't know if she's actually failing, but that's what's speak like messaging out. Like there's
Yeah.
text gate. I guess she hasn't invited people, like the communication is off. Toya hasn't been doing what other people would expect the host to do. We'll see what those things are, what those issues are, responsibilities that apparently she's failing to deliver on. But it seems like there's like a lot of tension and it's focused at Toya, and it seems like Toya is also like folding a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't have support either, and people want her to fail at this point.
That's the goal. The objective is for the Met Gala to, like continue and, go forward, but for Toya to fail. Yikes.
Yeah.
But then Toya's like, who did she like in that clip go off on for not supporting?
I think it was Dr. Mimi.
Yeah, it's like, girl, just shut up.
Yeah, at this point, it's like, okay, you guys are just talking too much. Let's just get things done,
Yeah, just like,
because it's easy to point fingers at people and
yeah,
say, oh, you're the reason why this didn't happen or whatever. But it's really hard to take accountability and just do the work and get it done.
exactly.
So,
And you didn't participate financially for the last, or in any other way except for bringing your wine, that one the first time or the second time. But you haven't done anything, and so for you to like come out at Mimi for the same wrong that you've done in the past and you've asked for forgiveness and consideration, and you're coming out at her for that same thing. Literally, nothing's changed. It's the same exact situation that Mimi is now not participating in. And for you to like spring out on her, I thought y'all was trying to have a good relationship and all four of you guys were gonna hang out and bond, and this is not
yeah.
helping the cause, Toya.
I think there's some sort of personality clash between the two of them. And, we'll get to see it more because it did sound like Steve and Dr. Eugene were, trying to have each other over the house and
Yes.
stuff and trying to be friends and everything. But I don't know, there's something between Dr. Mimi and Toya where I don't even know I don't know how their friendship will pan out or if they will be friends. We'll see. I
Mm.
will see. I'm looking forward to next episode because I want to see how it all plays out. And it did seem like Toya was getting upset at Mimi. So I
Yeah,
don't
we're
know.
gonna see. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
These producers are good at just giving us clips, and then it's like, oh my gosh, there's nothing else here. But but
Yeah.
like hopefully, they flesh it out a little bit next episode. It's the final episode of the season.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
We're here already. Like, that's
This
crazy. I thought we would have about like maybe three or four more episodes, but yeah, they're like, no, in the episode before the season, or this is the episode before the season finale. And I'm like,
I'm like,
what?
what? This is crazy. But all right, we're ready for it, and we're especially ready for the reunion.
Yeah,
So, guys,
exactly.
keep following us as we go through the final episode into the reunion episodes because you know it's going to be more than one.
Yeah, yeah. Sheb, what was your takeaway this episode?
Okay, my takeaway, I focused in on Angel.
Hmm.
Angel didn't really have too much going on. Bernard definitely had no lines in this episode. Like we didn't hear him utter a word this episode, which was kind of interesting, but it also like set the stage for what Angel said, which is like, if you're not coming with a ring, then we're just friends. I don't see this going anywhere, right? And so that kind of segues from what you mentioned last week, Liz, that Angel is doing a good job of not like tying herself down to someone who is like really not coming with the right energy. It doesn't seem like he is super enthralled by her and like clear about his intentions. And it carried through. Like Angel receives that. I love that she's not trying to make the best out of a bad situation, right? She's like, you are in the category of a friend, and you're nothing more unless I see a ring. And then she can
Yep.
decide if she wants to go forward, right? So kudos to Angel. I think that's a mature woman who knows what she wants. And she's leading her life through logic and not necessarily through emotion. And I think that's powerful.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a good point. And it's just such a difference because like she's really good friends with Quad, right?
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like to see her not give any energy directed to Dr. Bernard, but to see Quad give all of her energy directed towards King, it's just
Yes.
like two different dynamics,
Very.
with similar acting men as far as just not giving enough to the
Right.
relationship. So
Exactly.
yes, good point. Yeah. I was like, with
What is
this
your
one,
takeaway?
Yeah, but this one, it's like these guys have to understand, and I guess in general, people have to understand when they speak like publicly, they're usually not just representing themselves, they're usually representing someone else. So it's like we think about the women sometimes based off of what their husbands say on Married to Medicine. So it's
Hmm.
like Curtis talking out the side of his neck, saying all this stuff, it's representing Dr. Jackie in a way, like
In a
it's
poor
like
light.
in a poor light, like it's putting her in a poor light because she is attached to him. And he just needs to think about that when he talks. It's like you're not just speaking for yourself, you're also speaking for your wife. Like you're speaking for your family.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with, Dr. Eugene, he takes up for his family. Like you just see the different dynamics of how the men like speak about their wives and stuff. I even like to see the dynamic with Steve. And Steve is like, when Steve and Mimi are in the confessionals, they're very supportive of each other. He's
Hmm.
very like, always taking up for her and stuff. So it's like now we have attached Dr. Mimi to a supportive husband,
Yes.
and we've attached like Dr. Simone to like a fun-loving husband,
Yes.
and stuff. And it's just like there's so many attachments that come with just being partnered with someone,
Hmm.
where it's like you're not just representing yourself, you're representing your partner. So
Yeah.
it's just interesting to see those dynamics in the group.
Oh my gosh, that was like so well said and just like very, yeah. Um, your household, you represent your household, Curtis.
Yeah. Can you represent it well, please, so people don't have things to say about Dr. Jackie? Like, what?
So she doesn't have to be blowing up phones and doing damage control
Yeah.
because that's what she's doing. She's so embarrassed. You can tell. Oh my gosh, she was like very embarrassed by the reaction of her, just reaching out to Quad so frequently. She's trying her best to repair her husband saying what he said, talking on the side of his neck, like you mentioned.
hmm
Unnecessary. And it
Yeah.
was all unnecessary. There was no requirement to do this.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm like, I wonder that's why they didn't give Dr. Bernard any lines because it's like you're not going to represent Angel because Angel wants nothing to do with you. Like you're
No.
not going to be a part or attached to her name. And I'm glad that he's not attached to her name because I just feel like he would be saying some
Dumb
weird stuff
stuff.
if they gave him the opportunity. So,
Yeah. And he seems like he would, if given an opportunity, he would say something. He's there. He's filming, right? So I agree with you. Maybe for the producers were on her side. I love that.
yeah, I'd like to think that, People give producers a bad rep sometimes, like, so I'm just like, I'd like to think that they had good intentions with this.
Yeah. Agreed.
Mhm. But yeah, wow, another episode wrapped up.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
that concludes this episode. I'm excited for next episode and continue to follow us, like, subscribe as we slide into the finale and into the reunion.
Whew. All right, until next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.